run through my rationale for choosing it with you?
I think you told me it's you don't want one player to get eliminated just because they can't beat one of the other guys in the group.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the thing that I hate the most about it. Also, if you've got like a fan favorite, you get to see them play potentially an extra series that they otherwise wouldn't have. But anyway, spawning in at the 9 o'clock position, we have the red Zerg player from Team Startail, Life. You want to do the bottom right guy?
Sure. In the bottom right position, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. He is HerO.
Currently up 1-0 to Life. Different opener from HerO this game. Looks like we got a pylon on the low ground instead of up near his Nexus as he did last game.
I think seeing that hatchery first in the last game maybe makes him see a little bit of red, although I don't think he would need to send his probe out this quickly if he wanted to cannon rush, because if Life sees this, and he's gonna know, he's gonna be like, well, if there's a probe on the map, then obviously I should probably just go pool first because I don't want to risk it.
For sure.
I think HerO probably ends up going Nexus first, and I guess that's nice that Life shouldn't be able to go hatch first. He's gonna have a slightly delayed economy.
Yeah, and lucky for Life, this Overlord will scout first the Protoss position as well, so it's not like he's gonna be playing completely blind too. Always a nice feeling as Zerg when you get to scout first with your Overlord. And like you said, the pool does go down first at 15 supply.
What do you like on this map? Because I feel like there's a lot of open space towards the outer area. Like when it was Protoss tries to take their third, there's a lot of potential for harass on this. But is there anything beyond like what Life could do with just Zerglings, or do you like Mutalisks on this map?
I mean, this is a really good map for everything. Protoss has kind of a hard time on this map. Like you said, the third is like really cut off from the natural, so you run into weird positions where like the Zerg can kind of assault, you know, like that middle ground between the two bases and kind of poke around, you know, between one base and the other base, and the Protoss has to walk down the ramp and, you know, commit to defending. As far as Mutas, there's also a lot of space for Mutas to fly around too. You know, you take Mutas behind the third here, you go harass some resources. If the Protoss runs his army, you know, down to defend, then you just fly right on over, and now you're in the natural. And if at any point in time the harass is going bad, you've got all this area back here that you can fly towards, that you can very easily hide behind because there's a lot of space off the map. You know, it's not like the map cuts off right where the terrain does. So
yeah, it's not like merry-go-round. You have a lot more freedom to maneuver.
Oh my God, merry-go-round! Dude, there's so many games where like I'm harassing with Mutas and I'm like, oh well, okay, time to fly away, and then I run into the freaking wall, right?
Yeah.
You don't know the pain. Maybe you do. Maybe you tried to boost a medevac away.
Yeah, try to boost a medevac. Yeah. And it's like you're like the bird from like that Windex commercial. It's like you didn't even realize there was a window.
Yeah, you like spam click and you're getting shot by stalkers that are blinking and killing all your Mutas. You're like, ah, why? Who did this? But yeah, I mean, good. Yeah. No gas up for Life yet. We do got a couple of Lings crossing the map here.
Yeah. Life just straight away taking the third base though. He kind of recognizes with what he scouted. He's like, ah, okay. HerO wasn't really a threat of a cannon rush because he went Nexus first. But what I'm mostly wondering about now is what HerO's follow-up will be, because for the same reasons that you said, Mutalisks can be good, and Oracle can also be pretty good because there's a lot of space to maneuver around and a lot of different angles that it can come in from the main base.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, though. I mean, I say earlier, but on TeamSpeak several hours ago, how you were like, Oracles don't do as much damage as they used to. That's kind of true, too. I mean, there is already an Overlord in place to scout. I don't think, if HerO were to sneak a starport here, I don't think he would do too much damage to Life.
The thing is, like, if there's only one queen, it all depends if Life gets a scout off. But with Life's Overlord positioning, unless HerO builds a Stargate in his natural, I really don't think that Life should be able to scout it. But he hasn't actually built any pylons in his main, so there is going to be a Stargate behind the natural. I think the Overlord could actually spot this though
if he flies in.
There's a Stalker's going to be out so late, but now he's pulling back. I think if you don't see it and there's just one queen, the Oracle can ignore it and usually get up, because you've seen it like a couple times. You can get up to like 6. Some players like SOS have gotten like 10 kills because the one queen just can't kill it fast enough. But if you have 2 queens or a Spore Crawler, like if you know it's coming, then it's a lot easier to defend against.
They are fragile units, but it's really deceptive to. You have one queen, you're like, oh well, I got a queen. He's not gonna really do this, right? But they will. You'll lose like 8 drones with just one queen there.
Yeah. It's like, well, thought I had some anti-air, and now HerO's not going to let Life get any scout off because he's going to use the Mothership Core to provide vision. And even if he escapes, he's going to move to a place where he's not going to be able to see anything at all, because The two gas that have been taken in the natural for HerO, I don't think they're early or late enough to warrant any reason for Life to be concerned that it's not standard play, but we both know, as observers, there's an Oracle that's about to pop out.
Okay.
And nothing really to spot it.
Honest opinion, real fast, look at that Oracle. Do you think that kind of looks like a Void Ray when you're looking at it from above? When it's building in the Stargate, yeah. Every time I scouted a Zerg, I always think it's a Void Ray. I feel like it looks like one.
I think his Zergling saw. His Zergling barely caught a glimpse of that. It's actually really nice because now he brings 2 queens. I actually know how this Zealot got into the main base of Life. he's like, I'm a displaced Zealot. Hello.
Oh,
it's like new home.
Gonna see at least 5. I'm gonna say 5 drones.
This is really frustrating because he's already made the investment into the Spore Crawler, but it's done absolutely nothing to defend against this. Gets 1 shot off, but 7 kills.
Pretty good unit, Blizzard.
For all the Spore Crawlers and Queen movement and missed injects that he's forced, that was actually, this Oracle has definitely been worth it. He's building,
a second Oracle.
He's adding 2 Stargates and going Void Rays too now.
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this.
And there's a Hydro Center already on the way. So Life will have the tools he needs, but has he taken too much damage from this to actually prepare in time? Like this next one gets 2 kills.
Do you think HerO is going for like a big Void Ray timing attack, or do you think he's just gonna like? There are some things where Protoss what they do is they'll just hit like your 3rd with 4 Void Rays, they'll overcharge to kill the hatchery, and then they recall back to base, and then they just play like a macro game where they build that really big air army instead of just like trying to all in with.
That's really hard to do on this map though, right? Because the 3rd base is so far out. He might even just come in and like snipe the spawning pool. Like if he brings his mothership core with him, then he can recall. But he has that cliff space to work with.
I think what if he tries to snipe the main hatchery? I bet that's what he's gonna do. That's what I want to see.
It's totally doable. I think that's actually a pretty good reason for Life to have made his lair at his natural expansion. Because now it's a lot safer.
Maybe,
this Oracle is going to come in and check the main. It's really important for HerO to scout this Hydralisk Den, though. I don't feel like there's enough economy at the moment for the drones that Life lost to actually go straight for a big Hydralisk attack. Because with Photon Overcharge, this Photon Cannon at the 3rd, and the Void Rays, like this shouldn't be breakable with a really fast Hydro Link push.
Yeah, if HerO loses to any kind, if he loses to any kind of push from Life here, he needs to reconsider his life. Like, or no pun intended, but I mean. He did so much damage with the Oracles. Like, that was everything he could have hoped for. No? With an Oracle push? Or an Oracle attack? 9 workers killed? Like, that's...
And he still has these Oracles on the map that can try to look. Like, he had a hallucinated Phoenix Scout. Yeah, the hallucinated Phoenix Scout getting killed by these Hydralisks tells him everything that he needs to know. His Void Rays aren't really in position, but Hydralisks are so squishy that, like, he maybe at best kills a Gateway or a Pylon off, but... These Zerglings that are out here too, they're going to try to counterattack. The Sentries are in position, the Void Rays are at the natural. And that's just about it so far. Pylon and a Gateway. He might come and try to target the cannon. So Life is really committing with this. Time warps the Hydralisks though, and they have the range upgrade but no speed, so escaping is pretty difficult. And that Nexus is just wailing away on him.
Really good positioning by HerO there. He backed his Void Rays up and he just barely picked off that one Hydralisk to the side that was caught in between like the Force Fields and the Time Warp and whatnot. So really nice on HerO. That would have been really easy as a Protoss player to just let your Void Rays kind of wander into like a Hydralisk that were Time Warp, but he didn't.
Yeah.
It was good restraint.
Yeah, I think it's without even having to do, trying to pretend that I know a lot about, crazy about this matchup. The resources lost just kind of tells a very quick story of how this game's played out. HerO has gotten a lot of good trades. Well, as Oracle's getting caught, that's not quite so good. Void Rays are good, but they're still pretty flimsy. I love using this area though. He doesn't have enough energy on the mothership core to recall. So he needs to be very careful with what he does with these Void Rays.
Ling run by heading to HerO's 3rd. It looks like he is going to get a snipe off. He doesn't have enough energy to recall in the Mothership Core, though. Lots of Lings flooding into the 3rd of HerO.
He picks up the Mothership Core, but that main base does get sniped. The Zerglings get their way into that 3rd, but he really hasn't killed any probes. He's only killed 2 workers so far this game. That Photon Cannon being killed from earlier does make things a little bit awkward, but the probes should all mostly be able to escape, and the Void Rays are going to act as a nice cleanup crew. I think trade for trade, 5 total probes killed this game for a hatchery and a queen, and I think he even killed it in 1 or 2 of Life's infestors. It's still a pretty nice spot to be in for HerO. Especially now that he's moving into Colossi, which are going to help him against the Hydralisks. But this next push from Life, like with the number of Hydras he's reached, I'm still a little bit concerned because they're so flimsy on their own.
Kinda, but I mean, there is no time warp here for HerO, so these Hydras are able to get in if they can get across the force field, of course. And, I mean, really nice force field from HerO, but he needs to be really careful not to let these Void Rays wander into that field of Hydralisks.
Yeah,
your void rays will die so quickly.
He's out of force fields. He warps in 2 more sentries, Revelation, but there's still a crazy number of Hydralisks. The first Colossus steps up, but there's no range upgrade, not really any attack upgrades. And now that the void rays are beginning to die, yeah, you can try to prismatically align Hydralisks, but
it doesn't do anything.
Work against Light
yeah,
units.
I hate it when Protoss do that. That makes me really angry. And it looks like Light does have enough Hydras here to punch through and take out the third. Unfortunately, Void Rays just can't stand toe-to-toe against Hydralisks in this small of a number. You know, once you get like 20 or 30 Void Rays, it's really nice because they don't overkill. And, you know, they just, you know, boom, 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 boom. But with only 7 Void Rays, you know, sitting in front of 20, 30 Hydras, it's just not a situation you ever want to be stuck in.
Yeah, I feel like for sniping a hatchery, like, everything that HerO did, he made his switch into Colossi really slowly, it feels like. Getting his first Colossus with range out faster would have helped so much, I think.
And I could be wrong, Protoss players can correct me, but I don't think, I don't know how standard it is after you get all the after you get like 4 Void Rays to get 3 or 4 more Void Rays before the Colossus. Maybe he should have went and grabbed, especially seeing that Life was already going Hydra, maybe it would have been better to grab those Colossus a little bit before pumping out, you know, Void Ray number 6 or 7, because, you know, 1 or 2 more Colossus a little bit earlier would have been so much more helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you see your opponents going Hydras, I know Life is the kind of guy that mixes it up a little bit, but that his setup didn't really look like he was prepared to transition into much else. And now he's got Roaches coming out, which are going to help tank against any Colossus shots. He has 3 Vipers starting to accumulate energy. And he's 2 Void Rays, so they're maybe going to snipe the Roach Warren on the left side, but I'm not sure that that's going to be the game-saving move for HerO.
I mean, Life did just make a bunch of Roaches. What if when you kill the tech building, it canceled all of the units being made? Oh my god, 2 Vipers.
Oh man, double abduct, and that's... Killing the infestation pit's nice, but he wasn't going to go into swarm hosts or really a crazy number of infestors anyway. He has everything he needs already.
This is the worst feeling, is the Vipers come and kill your shit, and then you make the Templar Archives. Actually, I guess the worst would be if he was making a Citadel.
Yeah.
Or not a Citadel. Oh god. Wow. Wow. Brood War. Hello.
The
Twilight Council. I guess if you have to make the Twilight Council when you see Vipers, that's the worst feeling. But I don't know. I mean, even if he had the Templar in time, I don't know if HerO has enough to stop this attack.
Yeah, this is a massive wave of units, and if he force fields them all off, yeah, he's just gonna go over towards the natural expansion. He's like, yeah, 2 photon cannons. That's not really gonna deter me.
So many Vipers.
Which are gonna, yeah, the Vipers are just gonna pull in the Colossi. There's no enough Templar to actually try to even feedback them all.
Yeah. Well, Templar does get a feedback off, but I think he. Oh, it didn't even matter. There's still plenty of abducts here.
And the abducts are real. GG's called. HerO does get taken out, so we have a 1-1 tie in the first match of the day. And that was, I feel like, for the way that game opened up, for taking some pretty big losses in it. I guess it wasn't like he killed like 20 drones at the start of the game, but for losing 9 drones to the Oracles, after building like spore crawlers in all your bases and moving your queens, like, it's not really a comfortable position to be in because you can't immediately counterattack. And with how well he held off the first Hydra push, I'm still surprised how long it took HerO to actually move into Colossi.
Yeah, so like, looking at it like from like a player perspective of like what Life or HerO would be thinking, for Life to lose the first game, I don't think that's like a big blow to like him, like thinking like, oh god, like am I gonna, you know, I'm down 0-1 in the series, like this is gonna be like really rough. Because it was, you know, the Immortal Sentry push was really strong. I mean, there was a little bit of lag too. Maybe, I don't know. It's just like when you lose to an all-in like that, it's whatever. But for HerO to lose this game, going by what you said earlier, like, HerO kind of hit like all of the good marks on what he was looking to do. You know, he got the Oracles in right away. He was able to take out 9 drones with those early Oracles. He went Void Ray after. He was able to snipe the main hatch. Like, he defended his third. He didn't lose any He lost like 2 probes to the Ling Run by. Like, he did all of these really good things. And he still got completely steamrolled by Life, you know? That I feel like losing this game in HerO's position feels really bad. Like this is one of the games you have to go back and you kind of scratch your head and you're like, how did I lose that game? I thought I sniped the hatch. You know, I don't know. I wonder if I'm really wondering if Life always builds his lair in his natural, or if that lair was only built because he was building that extra queen in his main. You saw that he had 2 queens in the main when he started that lair. I wonder if it was because he was building one. But that was a pretty important thing. If his hive would have been sniped instead of just a hatchery, he wouldn't have had those Vipers out as early as he did too.
I completely agree. There was a very big weak point in that setup, and now that I think about it, on Catalina, I actually really like the idea of Zerg's taking the natural, because the natural is the most tucked away base on this map, and sometimes it's not the case on a map like Overgrowth. Your main base is obviously the most tucked away because it's just backed into that little corner. But Catalina has an interesting risk, and it's tricky because where HerO's army was by that third base was still in a pretty good spot, and sometimes that can open up your natural to being weak to assault. But I think if you can survive that first Hydra Ling timing with 4 or 5 Void Rays, you kind of said it best. Like most Protoss, when you build that many Void Rays, you're gonna make a quick, like, you want to make that switch into Colossus faster. There's not really much of a reason to wait for it.
And I feel really bad for saying this because it's probably insulting to HerO, but like if you look at the way like Minigun plays PvZ, I don't know if you've ever seen him play tournaments, but I mean I play him enough on whatever ladder and custom games. Like Minigun will grab like that 2 or 3 Void Rays, and then immediately after he's popping out Colossus, and then immediately after he's working towards High Temple, you know, so that he's got all his bases covered. Unfortunately, if HerO would have gone for Colossus before those 5, 6, 7 Void Rays that game, I think that game would have played out far differently. Well, I mean, at least he wouldn't have died there. I'm not saying he would have beaten Life. I mean, Life is a pretty scary opponent.
I have to imagine that, it's like you said, you gotta look at it from the player perspective. Perhaps HerO was thinking to himself, like, is he gonna follow this up with like a faster attack than I can get Colossi out? Because I guess it's easy to tunnel vision when you already have 3 Stargates, and most players that will open up Void Rays will usually chrono boost them out like straight out of that 1 Stargate while they get the robotics facility and get the robotics bay. But there must have been some sort of sense of urgency that we either didn't notice, or that maybe Life had kind of instilled a little bit of fear in him as to what could be coming, because the extra Void Rays, like we said, weren't necessary, but I can't imagine HerO would just build them for no reason.
And even when you see Protoss like go to snipe that hatchery, when it happens to me on the NA shitter ladder, I mean, for what that's worth, usually it only happens with 4 Void Rays. I'd never see somebody come and try to snipe my natural or my main with more than 4. It would always just be 4. You snipe it and you recall out. Building more than that is just I don't know, a little bit crazy. Regardless,
I completely agree. You usually see 3 to 4 Void Rays on the hit squad.
Indeed.